Hey guys, it's Emma and I'm back today for you with another video. And today we are doing a book review, and this book review is about one of the most critically acclaimed science fiction books known to man. The book that we're reviewing today, ladies and gentlemen, is Dune by Frank Herbert. Dune is what I like to call space Game of Thrones, okay? But it is about this desert planet named Arrakis, or Dune. And on this planet is Paul Atreides. His family has been given the fiefdom over this planet, and there's a really bad traitorous plot against his family that basically sends Paul into the desert running. And we watch as he becomes this almost messiah-like figure and how he avenges his family. Now, there are some trigger warnings in here, and they are poisoning, blackmail, coup, mentions of rape and being roofied, pedophilia, war, refugees, or, being a refugee, being on the run, incest, suicide, and slavery. So if those are gonna bother you, I might not pick this up. I don't normally pick up science fiction, I'm not gonna lie. It's very hard for me to visualize science fiction elements in when I'm reading. One of my friends convinced me to pick it up, and I was like, you know what, okay. He gave me his copy, so I was like, you know what, I might as well at least try it. And color me surprised, because I really did end up liking this. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be me talking about what I liked about Dune. Before we actually start, what I want to know is, have y'all read Dune? Do you like Dune? And if you haven't read Dune, what are just some regular sci-fi recommendations that you guys can give me like Dune? And also down in the description below, I will link the ambiance that I listened to while reading Dune, okay? So with that being said, let's get right into it. One of the things that I loved about Dune is the fact that it is so inspired by Arabic culture. Like, you look at the Fremen, all right? You look at the names, you look at the culture, you look at the words in the back. The Arabic influence practically bleeds off of Dune, and I love it, okay? Because I haven't seen that often in books, let alone old books, all right? And not to mention the soundtrack for the new Dune movie, God tier. That is the best soundtrack Hans Zimmer has ever Hans Zimmered, and I will hear no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The world building. Now, it is a fairly thick book. I recognize that. I understand that. And I admit that when I wasn't reading it, it was very intimidating to just see it on my desk, just see it staring at me like, you want to read me, bitch. The world building is a lot. You are dumped right into Dune, all right? You are dumped right into this world that is roiling with politics, that is roiling with intrigue, and you kind of really do just have to mentally take everything in. Granted, there is a glossary and an index and appendices in the back to to help you out. I think what I would like in the world building too, just by the sheer amount and the sheer density of it, would be Lord of the Rings, Priory of the Orange Tree. Honestly, if you guys have read that by Samantha Shannon, and Game of Thrones. Again, space Game of Thrones, what can I say? I have two favorite characters in Dune, all right? The first one is Paul, Mr. Paul Atreides, all right? I loved Paul. I loved reading about Paul. He's cunning. He may be overpowered every now and then. However, in my opinion, he's still a badass and a kick-ass commander. All right. And then the second character that I absolutely adored was Chani. All right. Miss Zendaya in the movie. Oh, que mujer. She is a ride or die. I loved her loyalty, not only to Paul, but to pretty much everybody that she loved. This bitch was a bulwark if you got her worked up, all right? If you threatened anybody that she cared about, she was gonna come at you with everything she had. She may have been more so a side character, as opposed to the others that we follow. However, she, in my opinion, is just as every bit of a kick-ass fighter as Paul is. And I loved watching her kick ass. All right, we've reached the point in the video where I have to talk about the cons, okay, because I did dock off a star for the pacing. Elliot Brooks, when I watched her review of it, she pretty much said that the book felt like the first 2/3 of it were set up, and then the last third was like the culmination of everything, and then basically this whole book felt like a setup for the rest of the series. And to be honest, I can see where that would be, yeah, because the beginning is kind of slow because, again, we're being introduced to everybody. There's all of this politics. There's all of these different worlds, all of these different characters, and they all have a hand in everything. So it does take time to set everything up, but that's not what I had a problem with. I had a problem with the fact that most of Frank Herbert's writing in Dune was telling and not showing, all right? And because of that, a lot of the big events that we're supposed to be fearing for the characters for don't seem that impressive or don't seem that high as stakes. Like, for example, there is a coup that happens in this book, and we only see the effects of it through the characters. And it's like we lead up to the coup, and then as soon as the coup happens, we like switch to a different chapter, and then we're told what happened with the coup. We're told about the coup through the effects on the main characters, and only the main characters, right? So even the coup didn't seem that dangerous, I guess. So that is one problem that I did have with Dune, because it did make the things that we're supposed to be scared for seem inconsequential. And then the other thing with the pacing that I had a problem with was the fact that there were time jumps that weren't necessarily very well indicated. We're following Paul like a good span of time, right? And you pretty much have to use context clues to figure out what age he is, where we are in the story at some points. It gets a little confusing, I'm not going to lie, which did take me out of the story for a little bit. I gave Dune 4 stars, all right? I loved this. I was pleasantly surprised by this. And then I watched the movie and I was even more blown away by the movie, all right? Honestly, I think the movie did it better than the book. The movie didn't have the telling and not showing things, so it made important points in the story seem as important as they were supposed to be. While the book is good, I really do recommend the movie as well, because the movie, like I said, I think fixes a lot of things that haven't aged as well, and makes it great. I'm surprised that everything else in Dune has aged as well as it has. Okay, so I think it's worth a shot. I definitely do think that this is a science fiction book worth your time if you are trying to get more into science fiction. I wouldn't say this is a beginner science fiction book. I'm going to be completely honest. I would recommend Iluros, quite honestly, if you're looking for a good, easy science fiction book to get into. But if you were thinking about trying Dune out, I would really recommend at least trying her out. This, like I said, is an epic science fiction story, and I may or may not have, hang on a minute, bought the sequel. Yes, all right. Paul has me in his clutches. I want to see what becomes of the dude. I'm attached. So you guys, that was my spoiler-free review of Dune. I hope you enjoyed. I really do hope that, even though she's intimidating, all right? Homegirl is intimidating. I really do hope, though, that you guys will pick her up anyway and at least give her a try. Wow, I cannot recommend this enough. I am, like I said, pleasantly surprised that I was even enjoying this book as much as I was. And I really do hope that other people can enjoy it too, and that people watching my video may, you know, pick this up because they are as intrigued by what I hopefully have interested you by. So with that being said, you guys, I hope that you have enjoyed the video. I hope you'll stay tuned for more, that you're staying safe, and that you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.